Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fighting.
Like, to an extent, but you want to see fights that actually have some kind of purpose.
I mean,
in the grand scheme of things, you understand that he dies, or he doesn't die, but he just, evaporates when he's old as shit. And that they're not even close to the end of the story. Like, and the story's not good anyway. Like, it's not like a suspenseful story, and it's focused around a few people, and those few people, like, we already know what happened.
Fox, I don't know if I agree. That Palpatine twist, that was good, Fox.
That's different. That
was good.
Fine. You needed that to conclude it, but they still deal with the Skywalker's line.
Yeah.
Everything's dealing with the Skywalker.
Well, that's that. With that, I mean, maybe that's the problem. But there's too much.
That is the problem.
There's too much in that universe. I feel like for this shit to be trash, because all the animated shit and like the comics, like, they're all like extremely popular, and like, or maybe that's the problem. People are mad that they not incorporating the shit from the comics and the animated shows into the movies or these new Disney Plus shows. Because I feel like the Ahsoka series is gonna be the same thing. I mean, it'll probably be pointless by the end of it. It may be good, but what really are you gonna talk about? Like,
I mean, The Mandalorian was decent because it's something with it, and he has no connection to the main story.
Well, that's why it was good, I think. Yeah, because The Mandalorian is like, it's a B storyline, and so it's different. You know, it's different than the main stuff that we used to seeing all the time. I think that's why people like The Mandalorian, and also it was good. It was well written and well acted.
It's not bad. I mean, the acting's okay. It's a dude in a mask.
I mean, he wasn't the only person on the show. I liked what's her face?
The racist?
Yeah, before she fucked up.
I mean, she's just a Trump card.
Cara something.
Rich person complaining about being told what to do.
Well, Fox, nobody likes being told what to do, rich or poor.
I mean,
people like to think they have the power to make their own decisions, so they don't like, feeling like decisions are being made for them.
Okay.
I'm just stating the facts. See what I'm saying? The facts are the facts.
Are they?
They are. Facts don't change. Let me tell you this. I know for a fact that Doctor Strange might be my favorite Marvel movie.
My brother was not like that. The first part of it, but he didn't get to the point where he actually travels the universe. He felt like the whole thing was kind of like, he didn't, and again, it's in the beginning, so I don't remember, I gotta watch it again, but it's that whole, like, Dr. Cumberbatch was kind of mailing it in. Like, Wanda being the villain, like, there wasn't really any real, because WandaVision kind of gives you a subplot, but at the same time, it's pretty quick to be like, yeah, she's the bad guy.
I mean, true, but that I said that, Fox. I said that, like, they walk in that line, and it's hard to do that shit because they want to keep the movies to the point to where you don't have to watch the TV shows to know what's going on, but at the same time, that's difficult when the TV shows have all like the backbone details.
My brother's seen it.
No, I mean that was just.
But not having him involved in WandaVision, kind of like he should have been there at some point in WandaVision to kind of like connect it.
I mean, well, that was the plan originally, but COVID fucked it up.
I know, but this dude's the second step to Sorcerer Supreme, and
he was supposed to, because supposedly originally he was supposed to show up at the end, and he was supposed to be the one that was supposed to snap her out of it. I guess, like, tell her all the things that she ended up figuring out anyway in the end of the series or whatever, I guess. And he was supposed to be the thing that snapped her out of it, but because of COVID, they had to change the ending, or so they took his cameo out, or didn't get to shoot his cameo, one or the other. But that was the original plan, and now it makes sense because that would have prepped you for the movie, especially if like, say if she was a little not so nice, you went to try to get her to snap back together, and she was like, she maybe if she left on a sour note, then that would have put two and two together, like, oh, she's maybe a bad guy. But those of us that already knew, like, it wasn't even a thing, like, because we already knew Wanda was evil.
My brother was more complaining about the acting. I think he.
Oh well, I didn't.
Benedict wasn't the same. It hasn't been, and again, he's only watched part of it.
I saw a difference in all of the Doctor Stranges. Like, there were visible differences, and you could all tell them apart.
Well, that's the thing too. Maybe because he hasn't gotten that part. All he's seen is the first one that gets killed in.
Maybe. Does he know that first Doctor Strange is the multiverse Strange? Maybe he thinks that first Strange is like the real Doctor Strange, and maybe that's why he's upset.
Because he's seen.
Oh, he's seen
her attack and kill off all the people that.
Oh, he got to the Illuminati part.
No, Kamatage.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I have to watch it again. So.
I mean, it's on Disney Plus whenever you're ready. But Fox, I rewatched it. And it was good as fuck, especially the one part with Professor X. I like how.
Do you think they didn't show his face in Watchmen until he takes on the one guy's in Calvin's face? Until he does that because they didn't want a white dude putting on blackface?
Probably.
Because again, Dr. Manhattan looked white.
Yeah.
He was a white scientist.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they definitely didn't show you what he really looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of crazy.
It's to keep from having a white guy trying to look like a black guy.
Yeah, like literally taking on a black... I mean, could that have been a reason?
That would be my only reason, because otherwise, why wouldn't you just hire a white actor or have him be black? Or because you hired a black actor.
CGI it. What's the difference? He's supposed to be this blue emanating being. He's not fucking...
He ain't supposed to have a color anyway, technically, other than blue.
Yeah, he's like this...
It's just pure energy, basically.
Yeah, so like you could have just basically...
He's like the Captain Marvel of the DC.
What the fuck?
Or at least Captain Marvel when she's binary.
God.
Oh, but Fox, you gotta see that Professor X scene over again.
Oh, where she snaps his neck.
Well, that's what I thought happened too. But if you watch the scene over again, you notice that she didn't actually snap his neck. She grabbed his head and she basically ripped his head in half. She grabbed like his bottom jaw and then the top of his head and like pulled him apart, basically. Ripped his head in two. It was very fucking gruesome, Fox, to be able to slow it down and go through it frame by frame. I was very proud that Marvel allowed, but that's why they showed it so fast in the theater, I think. So you couldn't really get a glimpse of what actually happened, because it looked like she broke his neck, which is a lot less gruesome to see as opposed to somebody getting their face ripped in half. But yeah, I was a fan, Fox. I watched it over on Disney Plus, and it just reinforced it for me. It had everything I needed it to have. It had the villain, the good villainry, because that bitch was killing everybody left and right. It had a good story, you know. A mother would do anything for her children, even if they're not hers.
I mean,
the only complaint I could have would have been the ending. And that's only because I didn't want the bitch to die.
she didn't die.
Well, I mean, yeah,
She
I guess.
ain't dead.
Yeah, I'm like, shit. Give her another turn at being a villain. Like, shit, she's so good at it. Let's do another movie where she's the villain, and maybe have her stopped in that movie. I don't know who the fuck could stop her, but
I mean they had to offer. She's too powerful.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I don't think so, Fox. I don't think so. What if she survives and say she's trying to like live somewhere peacefully or some shit, and say they find out she's still alive,
like Thanos.
Right, and that picks up the House of M storyline, because in the House of M, that's kind of what happened. Like they came to the conclusion that she couldn't live.
What if she goes to another planet? Again, Vision's still around too, so that could play into everything.
That is true. We still don't know what Vision is doing.
Yeah,
but I think that would work perfectly. Like if they have her survive and say have her like trying to live in secrecy or somewhere, and somehow they find out that she's still alive, and they have the discussion of whether or not she's a threat and should she be allowed to live, because that was the discussion they had in the comics. In the comics, they decided she needed to die, so they basically ganged up to go kill her. But she got tipped off somehow. I can't remember how she got. Somebody told her or something happened. She got tipped off, and that's what made her flip out and erase all mutants. She's also
angry at fucking Strange too, because she can see in other universes. She can see there was other ways to defeat Thanos, which in her mind probably drives her insane, because Strange should have done it a different way. Vision.
Well, and also I don't think I can see that, but also it may be more simpler than that too, because if you think about it, she could be just. It could be purely because he gave Thanos the Time Stone, which allowed him to be able to reverse her blowing his head up. So it may just be that simple. Like if you had figured out anything other than giving him the Time Stone, then I probably wouldn't have had to kill Vision, or at least if I did have to kill him, it probably would have had the meaning and the weight that it was intended to have.
But the only way Doctor Strange could survive and actually be considered a hero was by doing it that way. There's probably multiple ways that it could have worked out where he wasn't involved.
But that's the thing, though. They lied about him being a hero, though.
Huh?
You remember they lied about him being a hero. Because what he did didn't actually make him a hero. He ended up beating Thanos. The Doctor Strange you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about our Doctor Strange. So our Doctor Strange basically...
Well, he was selfish. I think he found the only...
So every time he looked, there was a point where he dies, and he said he looked a million times.
He found the one where he lived.
And he lived and won.
But I think that was necessary, because without him, then who protects the universe from, or the Earth, or our reality from these supernatural threats? Like, you need Doctor Strange.
I know, but at the same time...
I mean, he's not the Sorcerer Supreme, but he is.
There seems to be another universe that seemed to do alright without him. That's my point. There's other...
Which one?
Again, how could he know he didn't even know Captain Marvel existed. So there's so many variables about things that he doesn't know. Because how many did he look at where he dies, but Captain Marvel comes in and saves it, but he doesn't see that because Captain Marvel doesn't exist in his world.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, if you're basically at the point of having no options, then you kind of have to trust the depth of his knowledge, however shallow that knowledge may be, because at this point...
At the time you found out that he was shallow, that's the point.
I was about to say, because he's the only person that can look into any possibilities and see anything happening. Otherwise... But I'm saying at that point, like they didn't have no options. Like the plan that they had just come up with had failed miserably.
No, I know, but this movie that they just did was to show you that this Doctor Strange is inherently selfish, like every Doctor Strange.
And I get that.
So if you take that into account to what he saw when he went through his thing, you have to take into account his perception. It's very selfish and very much, I'm the one that can fix it. And the only way he's going to fix it is if he comes back and helps. And how many times did he have to do it? Where, again, he says one time, but obviously that's not true. Because there's infinite realities where Thanos never even comes close. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's he doesn't know about the multiverse at the time, so he can't know that, but...
That's what I was about to say. That's part of the reason why I think it went the way it went in our universe. Because, like, we so fucking behind the 8 ball. Like, I mean, by the time we even knew what the fuck was going on, or they in this universe, then he already had like 3 of the stones.
No, I get that.
So like
I know, but
were inherently behind, as opposed to in all those other universes, like they were on his ass, because when he died, when they killed him in the other universe before they killed Doctor Strange, you see his body with his sword in his chest or whatever. He only had 3 stones then, so like they were already on his ass and killed him fairly early in the situation but we allowed his ass to end up getting all of the fucking time stones. I mean, all of the
right, and the
5
reason
stones.
we found out the reason that happened is because the one who remains, made it that way.
I mean, that's another hiccup that means you can't really take anything for face value, because how much of what's going on is manipulated by him, and how much of it is actual events. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing.
Especially in that timeline, he's basically.
If he's cherry picking events to make things,
but it still shows you that he was selfish and.
But I think he has to be. I'm a proponent of believing that
he has to be to an extent.
His selfishness is one of the things that, even though it is a bad trait, like, I mean,
it is how he is.
Right, I was about to say he was literally the best surgeon in the world. So it's like, to a degree, there was kind of some like reason for him to be arrogant. Like, bitch, I am the shit. Like, name a better surgeon than me. But on the same token,
in the same word, again, I could fix my hands if I,
And that is true, because he tried and he saw that he could not. So maybe this movie is the humbling experience.
That's what I'm saying. I think this was his.
That our Doctor Strange needed
to deal with the next threat at hand.
I'm still trying to figure out how.
Maybe he's the one that sacrifices himself at the end of this arc.
I'm still trying to figure out how they get back. Nah, I don't know, because Benedict Cumberbatch is one of the ones that said he will do Doctor Strange movies until they don't want him no more.
I know, but you're talking, the end of this arc is 7-8 years from now. At some point, he's going to be like, older and not be able to play the role in the same level. I mean, obviously with the money and the training and stuff, it'll be fine.
I was about to say, and especially when it gets to the point to where de-aging software is considered cheap.
Yeah,
they got it now. It's just expensive, so they're not going to do it for like an entire movie.
He's going to age with the universe, because everyone in the universe is going to age. They plan that. That's why the Young Avengers, they put kids in.
Well, it depends, because some people just don't age by virtue of their powers. Like Thor. Thor is never going to look old.
Yeah, he's never old.
He's never going to get old.
Well, he does.
Well, he will, but it will be like thousands of years before he does.
Our humanity.
Yeah, because he's only like 1,500 now, and I think Odin was like 5,000 when he died. So he still got like years and years, and then you got Hulk is the same way, like because of the gamma rays, which that's probably why they started showing Mark Ruffalo less and less, because he got all that gray and shit in his beard now. But Hulk is not supposed to age because of the gamma rays, or he's supposed to age much, much slower. Wanda, she ages much slower. Like they got a couple of characters that kind of have to live by that look young forever rule. Captain America was one.
Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, she probably is immortal. Like, she's like pure energy, so I don't think she can die.
Something's gonna have to happen. They're not just gonna let like the main characters just. I mean, I'm
not saying that they won't figure out a way, and maybe she'll just like ride off into the sunset or some shit like that. But I think by virtue of her character, I don't think she can die, unless I'll rephrase that. Maybe she can die in her like human form, but I don't think she can die once she goes binary. And I don't know.
Maybe she has to sacrifice herself.
But I think going binary, like she has to be immortal. She has to be. Like, she can turn herself into pure energy. And energy can't be destroyed. It can only be...
Yeah, but every vessel that holds energy can.
That's why I say maybe she can only die when she's in, like, human form. Like, you have to kill her then, before she goes binary. But also, too, like...
She could have another level that could sacrifice herself.
I mean, I don't know, Fox. I don't know if... I think rather than sacrificing themselves, I think people are just actually going to start dying by virtue of getting killed. Because that's the one thing throughout this whole arc, or throughout the whole MCU, that's the one thing that we haven't really had. We haven't had any high stakes deaths.
They're keeping it too kid-like.
Right.
It's like when you watch...
And even when it was Iron Man, there was a sacrifice.
You never watch
They should have had Thanos kill him.
Yeah, I know, but you never or kill somebody.
Or yeah, I thought he was gonna kill Captain America.
Killing Vision, you know what I'm saying, was okay, but he's a synthezoid. He's not and then you brought him back.
Yeah.
So technically, he was never dead.
But that's why they did it, because he's somebody that you could easily bring back, but his death still held some kind of weight, because you have fans of his, and you also have people that like WandaVision. I mean, like Wanda, so they inherently like him. So it still had weight, but you could also reverse it. I think that's where I think the next. To be honest, if they do Secret Wars, that may be what happens. Because I think a lot of people died in Secret Wars, like a lot of main characters, because it's essentially everybody fighting each other. Dr. Doom basically sets up this battle world, and it's everybody fighting everybody. All of the main characters we know. So, and that, to be honest, that's the shit that they should have been building up to. They should have started from jump building up to Secret Wars, because Secret Wars would probably, that's probably going to, I don't care what they do, Secret Wars is probably going to be the biggest thing ever. That between Marvel fans, because you get to see people fight each other that would never fight each other, like Hulk and Wolverine, or Hulk and Captain America, or Wolverine and Professor X. Like, I mean, just these crazy combinations that you would never normally see fighting each other. So I think that's going to be like the biggest orgasm for comic book fans when they finally get around to doing that, no matter what they do. But there's still stuff in store. Don't the Black Panther movie come out this year?
Yeah.
I still don't know anything about that. They haven't really released.
Man.
Hey, what's up? What's up? You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Alright,
Dog is saying hello.
Yeah,
They're kind of calmer.
I was about to say they were a little chill when I came in.
Did you drug them today?
That's right.
So, tell me about what you got here, honey.
Put a little serotonin in their food, or melatonin. I mean.
What? Oh, in their food, yeah.
Yeah, I put a little sleep aid.
Tell me not licking me today.
Yeah, we'll deal with that in a minute.
Fox, you so damn rude.
Pardon me?
I said he's so rude. We'll deal with that in a minute. Sit down.
Well,
He was being Steve.
Right, just being himself.
Yeah.
Fox, we going to see Thor? I think Christian Bale finna give the performance of a lifetime, Fox.
yeah, he looks like he's gonna be mashed.
Yeah, he's about to bring Shakespeare acting to comic books, and I am ready for it. Like he said, when he said that line, so this is my decree. All gods must die. I was like, yes. Give me Christian Bale. Christian Bale was one of my favorite actors of all time. People hate his Batman Fox. I loved it. I loved the voice. I loved everything. Everybody gets on me whenever I bring that up. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like it just was everything for me. I loved it.
I think Patterson was a better Batman.
He was a good Batman. He was a very, very good Batman. Was he better than Christian Bale?
Hold on.
Debatable.
Was Christian Bale a better?
Christian Bale is the best Batman that has ever
Christian
been.
Bale's a better. Bruce
To
Wayne.
me.
To Bruce Wayne.
To me, he's the best both. To me, but I am very partial to Christian Bale. I love Christian Bale. You're just gonna have to accept that, Fox.
That's fine. I think he was great. He fit the role better, because he's, again, you got one trying to play the gloomy, secluded millionaire that doesn't deal with anything.
And one was more the playboy.
Yeah. Pretended to be something that the people wanted him to be.
But also too, one had a shit ton more to deal with than the other. Robert Pattinson only had to deal with the Riddler.
Well, Robert Pattinson's also dealing, just starting.
I mean, true, but just I'm saying, if we're comparing apples to apples,
Yeah.
like in each of Christian Bale's movies, his threats were way bigger than the Riddler was trying to expose corruption. He was only killing corrupt people.
But I think that's the difference in the.
Christian Bale had to deal with fucking Bane killing a whole stadium of people, or trying to at least.
Right, but I think he didn't in the first movie.
The first one was
he was
the Joker, wasn't it?
No.
No.
First one was Ramata.
Oh, that is right. Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
What was his name?
So it gives you his origin story. And I think this is like, if you took...
I can't think of his name.
This is in between that and the Joker. So I think when you get to Joker, who? Liam Neeson?
Ra's al Ghul. I fucking knew his name.
That was close.
I play that game like all the fucking time. I'm like, bro, I know this fucking name. And he was a really good Ra's al Ghul. I liked him in that role. She favoring that leg again.
I don't know. No.
I was about to say she wasn't, because she wasn't limping when I came in. She was jumping and everything.
No, she's just a butt face.
She said, I want attention.
Tired.
I know if I limp, somebody will show me attention.
It was also more realistic in the sense of no one's gonna blow up a stadium. That's not real. But someone does do stupid shit like corruption.
This is true. It was more grounded.
Yeah.
But depends on what you want in your Batman. Do you want grounded or do you want that crazy Joker shit? Because that's what I like.
Well,
it's the comic stuff.
I want the grounded with the Joker so you can bring it to reality.
Oh,
like you did with the real, like what you did with the movie Joker, where it's based on mental health and more than just a dude being a fucking psychopath.
Did you see who was supposed to be in the second Joker movie?
Did you ever see Joker?
No, I don't think I did.
You should. It's really worth it.
Which one is it?
It's the one
it's
with
the new one with
When did it come out?
Oh,
Joaquin Phoenix. It came out in 2018 or 2019.
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that.
Check it
Did
out.
you see who was supposed to be in the second one? Supposedly they cast Willem Dafoe. I don't know what role he's playing or what he's doing, but supposedly he's going to be in the second Joker movie. You know, I love me some Willem Dafoe too.
Yeah.
His crazy ass. That Spider-Man! that's all I need is for him to give me that voice.
I'm sorry, I thought you'd go to him dressing in drag.
I mean, that was good too. That was good
You
too.
ever see that? Boondock Saints?
Yeah, that was
You
good
guys
too.
are-
You know who William Dafoe is?
Yes, I do, but I can't picture him right now. But I know
He's
who
got
it
a
is.
really special. Show her a picture. She'll be like, "Oh, I know that guy." He was in the original Batman or original Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was the
But he was
Green
also
Goblin.
he was in Boondock Saints. He was in Platoon.
Yeah.
Like
He's
his
been in a lot of
first
shit.
movie with like movies that people know him from. The
I know his name. I just can't.
Yeah, you gotta see the face because he got
Yeah.
a crazy face. Once you see the face, you gonna know it for sure.
Oh yeah. No, it's not that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's that big old dude that's crazy. Oh, him? No, yeah, he's a great Joker.
Yeah,
Well, he doesn't play the Joker.
he should. I think he may play an older version of the Joaquin Phoenix character. I think he's gonna be the Joker.
Also, to try and travel a little
Yeah,
bit. Maybe,
I think that's what they're doing rather than doing the same actor for 3 movies.
because they made the Joker more about like it takes place in the 70s, and it takes place in New York when New York's basically cutting all its public funding, and basically just kicking all the people out of
Was low.
Right.
They kicked all the people out of asylums and stuff like that out back on the streets.
You know, crazy
Yeah.
people running the streets.
So it shows
I remember
him,
when that happened.
and while still creating this great gap of wealth between one section of town and the next. So it shows that and how
Okay.
someone can go, because Joker in Batman is like a real
He's
there's
a psychotic.
He's
A
out there.
psychotic
He
sociopath. Yeah,
this dude's he's an empathetic sociopath.
Because it's more realistic.
It's
Yeah, it's
more
like
like,
this is the psycho.
Oh, if you did
this
that
is
to
the
me,
sociopath
then
you see
there's
in
a
real
chance
life.
I might do that. Like you could look at it and go, yeah, if something like because
Yeah, like if I'm dealing with this situation and then I got this and I got this going on, all this stuff pounding on me, and then you come up and do something to me detrimental that fucks me up in a way, I could see myself flipping like you did. 'Cause
Yeah.
when you see a movie, I don't want to give away
anything
specific parts of the movie, but it's very realistic. Like if you know anybody that has dealt with mental health, you will definitely see them in the movie.
I know a lot of people do.
It was like I love that they took that turn with it, because if you think about it, that is the Joker. He's like psychotic as fuck.
Yeah, and there
Where
had
else
to
would
be
he
a
come
reason.
from? Where else would he have
Yeah.
come from?
Right?
You don't just
It just come up
born
out of
that,
grow up and say.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
gonna be
supposedly
like
his
this.
mom was like,
A nut too.
his mom was raped by like 100 psychopaths in a psych ward.
Oh,
Of course, so she had a nut baby.
So that's supposedly
She was a
his
nut, and then she had another baby. So that makes a totally good, bizarre kindergarten.
Well, I mean, the kid could be fine if it's raised in a loving family. It could.
Right.
Well, I was about to say because
not
if you
always
were
though,
born,
but not
No,
always. They
no.
tend to go towards the better.
I'm telling you, if you take a child from 2 people who have mental health problems, and you don't give them the same life. You give them a life that's caring and nurturing and things that a child needs. Not spoiling a child, but being good like you're supposed to. 9 times out of 10, that child's gonna have no issues.
That's a whole
head the
argument.
wrong way can turn you completely sideways.
Facts. That's a whole argument between the scholars, nature versus nurture.
Well, it is, and it's one of those things.
I feel like your nature is always gonna rise to the surface.
I feel like your brain is such a intricate thing that the smallest of things can fuck up the wiring and turn people in. Just even bumping your head the wrong way can turn you into something you weren't yesterday. Just a fucking bump. And, yes, concussions can be messy, but we're talking like...
I know a lot of little things that can't change as
you rewire.
As I get older,
this wire goes that way and lets something out. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the difference. That's the different issue, Fox. You talking about a relatively normal person in the sense of having 2 parents that don't have mental issues and taking a random circumstance or a bump on the head or something like that, switching your mental chemistry, as opposed to 2 documented mentally ill people having a child. Like, I don't care what environment you put that child in. That child is going to have mental
problems. Have tendencies.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're going to do it.
What I'm saying is if you take a healthy child from 2 people who have mental health issues. Now, again, I might be wrong. I'm just talking out my ass. But I'm talking out my ass in a sense of I think the brain's completely malleable at any age, at any time. So anybody can fix their shit. Not fix their shit. Anybody can be taught to fix their shit. Anybody can be taught to not be the reason why the fucking person that the mom and the dad both had mental health issues is because something happened to them when they were a child that triggered their brain to wire.
Not all the time.
Yeah, there's not many that are. Most people, it has to be some kind of trauma that happens when you're young that rewires your brain.
Not all the time. Fox, what about the children that are born to perfectly fine, loving households, but they fucking like torture little animals or kill little animals when they're young? Weird shit like that.
That's not very often.
It's not, but you can't completely count out those instances, because there are instances where people are just simply born and their brain is already off.
Okay, something happened in the womb. I'm not saying, again, you're right. Maybe it was...
So what you're saying is 100% of the time, no matter what, your brain is going to be intended to be born perfect unless something happens.
No, what I'm saying is if the brain is in good working order, things can happen. You can bump
That's
your head.
That's a big if.
Hold on, but you can bump your head as a baby.
That's a big if.
And wire it wrong.
That's a big if, Fox.
What do you mean a big if?
Because people, to say what you're saying means that under no circumstances, or I won't say that. To say what you're saying means that unless something happens, everyone would be born with perfect mental health. And I just don't believe that.
No, I think mental health is something that you're dealing with. You have to be taught how to deal with it.
No, because like depression is a chemical imbalance.
Right, which is usually caused by food, your diet, or things of that nature.
Yeah,
and also can be caused by
shit
happening when you were young. Or it could be caused by, I don't know,
I don't believe
lead.
That. I don't believe that.
Sickness.
Be someone that lives in a house that's full of lead.
I don't believe that.
Water.
I don't believe that. If people can be born with medical issues naturally without anything happening or being the case of it, why does that not extend to the brain? When the brain is another organ just like all your other organs.
The brain is different in the sense that you can rewrite it from top to bottom.
That's beside the point.
If it's something that
you're talking about after the problem is addressed or after the problem is found. Yes, okay, then you can rewire. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't say that people can't be born with mental issues without any prior triggers or anything. I think it is very possible for a person to eat the right things, go through the proper pregnancy protocol, and do everything that they're supposed to do, and have a baby that is born with a chemical imbalance.
Which would be autism.
Matter of fact, that is the perfect...
That's different. That's different than...
How is that different?
Because autism is not the same as depression or bipolar or any of those things. Autism is a physical lack of mental capacity.
Autism is one of the side effects of...
And do you really consider it mental lack of mental capacity? Because there are autistic people that can do things that I can't do.
I didn't say that.
I mean, that's what I'm just
That's my point.
You said lack of mental capacity, and I'm just saying
whether it's a mental capacity to think, or whether it's a mental capacity to able to control the amount of stimulus coming in, because that's part of their problems. Is most of them can't control this is actually coming in from everywhere.
Oh, I know.
That wave of hand makes them go nuts because it's so much stimulus.
Too many people in the room will make
normal people can do that.
I mean, Fox.
No.
I get what you're saying completely.
Yeah.
My mom has a friend, her child is autistic, and he has a thing about cars. And he likes to put his cars in a line, and if you touch one, if you mess up the line of cars, he freaks out intensely. Like that's, I get that completely.
Someone just died.
Yeah.
Right. But the point I'm making is that is two non-autistic people can have an autistic child. So that means the brain can be born with dysfunctions without any triggers or anything. That is the point I'm making.
I understand that, but that's not what most mental health problems are.
But all of that's under the same umbrella because it all happens in the brain and it all happens at birth.
That's fine.
Or it's present at birth.
I'm saying you're not born bipolar. You achieve something happens when you're young that fucks up your brain so it doesn't fire properly.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know if I'm right.
I'm finna look it up because I don't think
right.
you are.
I think because again, if it's the brain not firing properly, why is that? There's reasons that there's a lot of things that can cause that.
Because he was an older child, because his parents were older, and which meant they had lack of things in their system that would have had when they were younger than when they do when they're older.
I don't know if that actually matters because there's a lot of people
you
out
never
there
know.
who are born to
There's stuff
20-year-olds.
my body doesn't make no more.
But I think
bipolar disorder often runs in families, and research suggests that it is most likely explained by heredity. People with certain genes are more likely to develop bipolar disorder than others. Many genes are involved, and no one gene can cause the disorder, but genes are not the only factor.
Right. And I think if you take
you can absolutely be
10
born
kids,
bipolar.
if you take 10 kids that are born from bipolar parents, and you give them everything they need to have a normal, educated upbringing, then out of those 10, one of them will come up with bipolar and the rest will be normal. I don't want to say normal, won't have the same issues.
Different levels.
Again, yeah, and it's different levels, because yes, the depression is one of those things that I've dealt with multiple times in my life. More than once.
I think everybody has one time in their life.
From the time I was a child until 10 years ago, it was like dominated everything. And then at some point, I don't know, my brain started firing properly. One of the reasons is because I actually started eating better. Because compared to you, I ate like a goddamn sow. I'm
just saying though, Fox. I get triggered. My only issue is when you say these things because, like, I am a person who deals with mental health, and I don't have any triggers. Like, neither of my parents have mental health issues. Nobody traumatized me as a child. I never got.
You went through Katrina. Your trauma to you isn't as bad as you think it is. But it's bad. Any trauma.
I dealt with depression before Katrina. I was already in high school by Katrina.
Because you were living in a place that.
Surrounded.
Again, we know who you are. You're living in the South when you're not allowed to be the person.
But let's be perfectly honest, though, Fox. Like, there were no overwhelming triggers. Like, it was.
It doesn't.
I had a relatively happy childhood.
That's cool.
I mean, I can't even think of any like major life events or anything that I would have even.
But what I'm saying is the things that cause depression aren't the things you remember. They're the things that you forget.
Fox, what I know is the earliest.
Did you ever go to a funeral when you were a child?
Can you not?
Hey.
I did not. I did not.
It did give me a wild.
Yeah, when I was 5, I was at my brother's funeral. And
it was, I don't know how old I went to an aunt's house, or an aunt who died. She was in the basement of a house. And No, I had to go see her in the basement of a house.
Yeah, that triggers. And again, I'm not saying, because again, when you're dealing with children that are 5 to 10 years old, what you and I consider normal things to them might completely be traumatizing. We might have my nephew over here, and the way the dog acts might be completely traumatizing to the kid. And it's not in the sense that the kid's basically losing his mind, but it builds from there because no one ever deals with it. So then everything else that happens in life starts building on top of that, and building on top of that, and building on top. And no one's dealt with the first trauma they dealt with, which again, to us isn't trauma. But in his perspective, because back to dealing with the family thing, their perspective of everything was completely opposite of yours. And there's a reason for it. Because they have a previous notion. They haven't seen the person that you've been dealing with for the last 5 years. The person they've seen is the person they still see is the person that was before I met her. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm saying that as a child, even if you have the perfect parents and everything goes right, there's still things in there that might go wrong that are completely out of control from anyone and are left up to the universe, because that's what happens. But if you actually teach people that and teach people to deal with those traumas, then it helps later in life when you're dealing with real traumas that are, substantial, like your first death that you have to deal with, your grandma's or your mom's, or because that's the first real trauma you're going to deal with is someone that you actually loved.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You cared for her. There was a feeling there. You still can't understand what that feeling is yet, but you...
Yeah, you love, someone...
See, I got lucky in that regard. I mean, it was still sad, but by the time my grandma died, I was already a grown man.
Yeah.
So, as opposed to going to her funeral as a child or a teenager...
Which would have been a little more...
It was 2016. I was like... 6 years ago, so I was 27, 28.
You've gone through so much in your life already by this point that
it wasn't traumatizing.
because you knew that she was old, and that's where I get too. It's like when someone's at a certain age, you just go, okay, well, I appreciate, I'm sad, but what are you gonna do?
You categorize it is what you do. You take it. They're older. They lived their life. They did. That's acceptable.
Mm-hmm. If you get past 32. You beat a lot of people in the...
Shut the fuck up. This ain't the fucking 1600s, bitch.
But it still is. Think about the famous people that died
at 27. You get past 32. Because I just passed 32 2 years ago. Don't do that. Shit.
No, but life is busy, and there's a lot of people don't die in the same vein that we did 100 years ago.
This is true. I mean, we were more likely to die of cholera or some shit.
Some
crazy
COVID.
type. Right. Right. COVID would have took you out. But our immune systems have built. We've got medicines, and because now the average life expectancy for men and women is 70, 80 years.
It's actually gone down.
Is it really?
Our generation.
Oh well.
Yeah, just because of what just happened with COVID. Messed us up.
No, it was before that.
They said COVID messed it up too.
COVID helped, but it was also the opioid thing. It put a big spike in the...
Oh, well, Fox. Now, that's a touchy subject.
What?
Oops.
Why?
The opioids.
What's touchy about it?
Because of who do opioids?
People?
Someone special.
I mean, poor redneck people?
Yes. And they want us to oh, the opioid epidemic. The opioid epidemic. The only people I know that do opioids are white people.
You know what?
They don't talk about, let's talk about crack.
No, I get it. But only thing I'm concerned is...
Because that shit is still killing black neighborhoods all over the place.
I think...
And nobody's giving a damn about that. But a few white people are overdosing on opioids, and it's a national thing.
It's one of those things, awareness needs to happen, because no one's going to pick up a crack pipe voluntarily.
I mean, Fox, I went my entire life and nobody has ever offered crack to me.
Me too.
That's what I'm saying. But I have been offered opioids on multiple occasions.
And you know why? Because the corporations up top were pushing the shit down our throats. That's the thing that needs to be exposed. I'm not worried about the people. People do what they're gonna do.
Expose what you need to expose.
Legalize the fuck out of it to where you can go to a store and you can buy as many Vicodins.
They did, and fucking Oregon. What was that?
Did they legalize heroin?
They legalized like heroin and something else.
They decriminalized it.
Decriminalized it.
I think I heard something
Well,
about that a while
Switzerland has clinics where you go in and you get your shit, like you get your hit for the day and you go on.
Because Fox, let me tell you, do you know who Demi Lovato is?
Who?
Demi Lovato.
Should I?
She is, no, it doesn't matter whether you know her or not. I just wanted to see if you knew her before I told you this story. She's a famous singer. And she has admitted to having issues with heroin.
Okay.
Now, you know how ruthless people are. Because they fucking are ruthless. Once they passed that law with Oregon decriminalizing the hard drugs, somebody made a meme and it was a picture of her stepping off the plane and it was like Demi Lovato arriving in Oregon.
Okay.
I just needed to tell you that because I never thought that I'd be talking about Oregon decriminalizing heroin, and here we are. but I was blown away. I remember that. I was blown away by that too. I'm like, so you can just do heroin and not get in trouble for it?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, you could do heroin and not get in trouble for it anyway. They really only get you for possession.
Yeah.
Like, if you get caught high of heroin, you're not going to go to jail.
Well, yeah, they're not going to fuck.
Right.
Well, I mean, you can get.
So, technically, you could do heroin here.
Overdosing, I think they can get.
Okay, maybe that.
And it depends on the state, too.
Because what if the person I'm going to has the heroin and I just go to them and let them shoot me up? Technically, I have never possessed heroin. Unless you counted being in my veins as possessing it. I mean, but
it was on your body,
right?
Or in your body.
It's just weird. It's just weird to me how the U.S. is about drugs. Like,
no, how is it not? How is it weird? It's exactly okay. If you think about it,
how can you? Why would you penalize someone for possessing a drug and not penalize them for using it?
Because you don't use it and you want.
I don't give a fuck.
No, hold on.
If you want to really police it and if you really gave a damn,
they don't.
Well, that's what you missing the point, Fox. That's what I was saying. It's asinine, all of it, because you don't really care about stopping people from using drugs. If you did, then you would criminalize the act of using drugs. Because there's no drug the only drug that you can get in trouble for actually using is maybe marijuana. Because if you smoking well, not now because it's legal here. Whoa. But if you're smoking somewhere where it's illegal, they can't arrest you if you're smoking somewhere where it's illegal. Yeah. But other than marijuana, what other drug?
If it's in your body, they can't.
If it's in your body, they don't criminalize you for it.
Some states do take drug tests. Like, they'll take your blood, and if it's in your blood at a certain content level, I think they actually will hit you with it.
Well, it needs to be worse than that. It needs to be if you caught doing these drugs that are level 2 drugs or whatever you want to call it.
Well,
there needs to be
none of that.
Penalties or take all of it away, because I'm fine with letting people do whatever the fuck they want. If you want to do heroin and destroy your life despite people telling you not to, you have made a choice. And I feel like as a human you are allowed that choice, because if my life goes to shit and I turn to the crack pipe, I'm not listening to none of y'all tell me to get off of it. Like, bitch, fuck y'all, this is where I want to be. Call me cracky.
Right.
I mean, but I'm just saying, I'm a big proponent of allowing people to do what they want. Like, of course, I'm gonna try to stop you from destroying your life. Of course, I'm going to try to stop you. But if you are dead set on doing so, there is only so much I can do. I can put you in rehab. If you skip out on rehab, sis, that is apparent. You
wash your hands.
You filthy bitch.
I know, dude. It got me too.
Slung that slobber all over my leg. But I will try, and then obviously there's some people I'm gonna go to bat harder for. Like, Fox, if you turn to heroin, I'm gonna fight harder for you than some person off the street. Are we talking about how drugs should be legal?
Yeah.
But
so there ain't no way me and him are ever gonna have no heroin in this.
Heroin was just the specific one we were talking about. But however,
no one we associate.
I would fight harder for you than I would for anybody else. Right. So I get, there are some instances where, but for the most part, I'm like, no, bitch, if I've done all I can do. If that's what you want to do, I'm a proponent of you being, because if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't want anybody telling me to stop either. Because, bitch, if I'm at this point to where I'm doing heroin, girl, I have exhausted all options. So just know, when you see me doing heroin, the exhausted has happened. All of the options are ran out.
I mean,
Fox, I'm just letting you know. Don't try to stop me. You can ask and plead and beg, but if you see me on the heroin, Fox, it's at that point. I'm gone. I done gave up.
hello, Uncle Dean.
Uncle Dean, I'm sorry to be talking about drugs in front of you. Let's talk about something else, Fox.
He knows.
Uncle Dean said, these hoes on here talking about heroin.
No.
Fox, I don't know anybody in my life that has ever done heroin either.
I know a couple people that have done it.
It's not a drug that I had too much experience with. Down south, mostly, especially in New Orleans, Mississippi, mostly really the only drugs that people with hard drugs was crack.
Yeah.
For sure. All the poor people did crack. And the rich people did coke.
Yeah.
Poor people did meth in the country.
He likes to hack.
You can't do meth in the city. He likes my hat.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Uncle Dean.
Because poor meth is like another coke style. Like it's.
But I don't understand how. Because, like, don't you need a shit ton of Sudafed? And that shit can't be... or...
When they make it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Is it actual Sudafed that you need?
Yeah, well, you need
It's one-
you need
it's
a chemical in the Sudafed.
I was about to say, it's some medicine. Yeah, okay, so that's what it is. And you need a shit ton of that shit. And also, how the hell do you buy that? Because if you buying that in bulk,
You
like...
just make it in another country.
Okay. And you could probably get Sudafed off the black market. Or whatever chemical that you need out the Sudafed, you could probably
Yeah,
get it
that's
off the
what it
black market.
is. They show up with that chemical probably.
Yeah. That's crazy, though. Because I knew a couple of houses that were meth labs down south. Mm-hmm.
I worked with these two guys, or three actually, but two of them, a dad and a son, they definitely knew how to make meth
I will never in my life forget that smell.
from Nebraska.
I will miss acrid, I will never forget that smell. It's this, and they were fucking pumping that shit out, Fox. I'm talking about a lot of people do meth down south.
Oh, I know somebody did, messed her all up, lost her kids,
Oh,
ruined her relationship.
yes,
I
and
mean,
then that ain't even to say what it do to your looks,
Oh,
Fox.
God,
That is one of the worst drugs on how it fuck you up physically.
Well, it's because you're not taking care of yourself and not eating and not fucking.
I mean, but still though, Fox, just like
Teeth.
teeth
Oh,
get
yeah.
tore up,
Crack
and
does
the
too.
fucking sore and shit, and their
Yeah.
eyes get sunk in and all black, and I'll just be like, you up bad, and you could tell, like as soon as you see him, you on that man. You just know him as soon as you see him. They everywhere down south.
They're not around here.
You say who?
They're not around here.
I mean, well, for one, this is too compact. You can't make it here.
No, you'd have to make it out. No.
Yeah, you need space. Like, and down south in Mississippi, perfect. Like, everybody has acres and acres. Like, everybody has space. So you could have a fucking barn for your or your field and be making meth out there, bitch, and nobody would ever think about it. Nobody would ever think about it. Because first of all, you can't see the barn from the road. You'd have to actually go down to your house and then go behind your house into your field to actually even know that you have a barn out there. So it's like, it's just too much space and not enough police to police all that space. People do everything. That's how, when I first got up here, people were shocked. Because I'm like, they were like, oh, Mississippi, they tough on weed, right? I mean, yeah, it's illegal. But I smoked every day from like 15 up until I moved up here every day of my life.
Yeah.
And I never had not one run-in with the cops as far as weed. Ever. It's just too much space.
I mean, before you moved up here, it was still, like, in the 90s, it was still illegal. Like, when I smoked weed when I was in my 20s, it was like we had to worry about it. I had to worry about cops showing up to my
But that's
house.
what I'm saying, Fox. Up here, that's actually a worry. Down south, that's not a worry.
Oh,
like,
really?
people sit in their house and literally just smoke weed and do whatever, and you can sit comfortably because you know the next house is like a mile that way. Like, who's gonna smell?
I guess
It's on
you're
the
right.
other side of the road.
Right. And then it's on the opposite side of the road. Because the house I grew up in, like, just to paint you a picture. When we moved to Mississippi, the house that I lived in, there was a house here. Just imagine. and then you got the road curved around like so, and all of this was woods. And then you had my family's driveway, and our driveway alone went all the way down off into the woods and curved to the left. And then our house sat up on like a hill back here. So that's, you can imagine how far already I am from my only neighbor, because on the next side there's nobody over here. Mm-hmm. This is all woods for maybe a mile and a half, and then you got maybe 2 houses close together, and then you got another mile of woods. Then you got an open clearing, which is where there's a elementary school, which is the elementary school my brother and sister went to. So it's like there's no like, people don't know what you're doing. Nobody has any clue what you're doing. So the only surefire way that you would probably get caught is if you had a snitch. If somebody knew that you were smoking, or knew that you sold weed, or did something, and they just decided to be a bitch and snitched on you, like, that's really the only way people would ever get caught, because nobody fucking knows anything.
They don't care anyway.
And then also, and most people don't give a fuck. Because I used to sit in my car. I used to park in
cops coming around this area.
Right. I used to park in fields and smoke in my car, and with the windows down, just sit and smoke in my car.
You ever been down
People
south?
pass by driving.
I mean, yeah.
How far?
I grew up in Holly. I didn't grow up here.
How far south have you been?
How far south have I been?
Yes.
All the way to Florida. I've been to Alabama too.
No. Okay, Alabama makes me feel a little bit better, but Florida is not really south. Like, Florida is in the south, but
it's more commercialized.
Yes, it's commercialized. Yes.
Because I've been to Alabama, and I've been on the downside of Alabama.
Right.
And the neighbors, their houses are up on stilts, and there's people all over the place, and they're all like crazy.
Yes. Everybody's so nice. Now, I will say that, Fox, they may be racist, but they will definitely put on a good face, because you be riding through and they just be waving and smiling, making you feel like they like you, and they probably be, when you leave, they fucking monkey. But the hospitality, they definitely give you a good front while you in their face.
Yeah.
But you have a few that don't give a fuck, especially in Alabama. Like Alabama, I feel for the black people that live there and have to stay there, because it's a thing down south. You don't go to Alabama. You just don't. Because it's where the most we feel like down south, the most racist people are. But supposedly, I don't know how true this is, supposedly Arkansas will give Alabama a run for its money. But I've never been to Arkansas. I don't know too much about her. But I've been to Alabama, and I've been in restaurants where you walk in the restaurant and the entire fucking restaurant turn and look at you.
Like, what the hell you doing?
Right,
there?
and it makes you feel uncomfortable to the point to where you just leave. Like, well, let's not eat here. So, I don't fuck with Alabama.
What down there?
I don't want to be down there either.
We drive through it and do not stop, because if you want to go to Florida, you gotta go through Alabama.
Oh, from where you're coming
from Mississippi, you gotta go through Alabama or
I'm
Louisiana.
like, no, you don't. You go straight down 75. Why would you fucking go through Alabama? That'd be some weird way.
Well, if you're going to Panama City, you gotta go to Alabama.
That is true.
I'm not going to Panama City.
I've been there. That's why.
Look,
from Alabama.
Coast, man.
You got this. Especially from where my family lives, because my family lives in. If this is Mississippi, because Mississippi and Alabama are pretty much like flip flop.
Yeah.
So my family stays in like just below the center of Mississippi. So we have absolutely no choice. If you want to go to Florida, you have to go through Alabama. So it's literally a case of we drive until we get right on the edge of Mississippi, and then we stop there, do whatever we're gonna do, and then you just push that 2.5, maybe 3 hours through Alabama.
Non-stop. Not even if you have to go to a restaurant. It's got to be really bad.
It's got to be really, really bad. Like, I got to do number 2. Like,
I'll pee in the cup.
Because that's exactly what it is. When I was in college, me and my roommates, or my friends, we would go to Florida for like spring break or things like that. That was exactly what it was. And I had to teach them that, because like, one of my friends was from Jackson, Mississippi, so he knew what was up. But I had a friend that was from Chicago. So he has no idea about the South whatsoever. Like, I'm basically training these. Well, I'm like, bro, look, I'm telling y'all from these places where the white people are nice and they actually mean it. I'm like, down here, they'll be nice to you and then be calling you the N-word behind your back. And it ain't like that. It ain't like that, man. I'm like, bro, Just telling you. Trust me, I know. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. Them people in Alabama do not play.
How about
and they
experience with you?
And they fly. They love they Confederate flag. I've never seen the Confederate flag flown anywhere more than in Alabama.
Did I tell you the story about why I was in Alabama?
Why?
Excuse me.
So what the fuck could you have to go to? I've never had anything take me to Alabama.
I'm 18 years old. 19 at the oldest. I'm 18 probably. And some girl that I was trying to date was at her dad's house in Alabama and wanted to come home.
Oh.
So a buddy of mine was like, yeah, I'll take the road trip. We'll just drive straight through. Go pick her up. Drive down.
Turn around and come back.
Come back. And we kind of hung out. We had to hang out in the town for about 2 hours. But it was like...
You remember what city?
No, I remember it wasn't a place I wanted to be. We definitely played a lot of rap music really loud. The guy I was with was trying to be like tough.
Oh, I was about to say, now you know the black people in Alabama, they mostly stick to the big cities.
It wasn't a big city.
I was about to say, so
there wasn't many black. There was a couple, but it wasn't like.
I mean, you got some that are still like country because their family was like farmers or
all I know is
just own land.
Supposedly he had some markings on there that kind of would give away who he was. You know what I'm saying? And they talked about that they've done like something about cross burnings in a couple places. Like it was like.
That's why I don't fuck with Alabama.
Yeah, it was.
I'm telling you, Fox.
And I don't know if she was just talking it up or not.
Yeah,
but
no,
the way
Fox.
she made it sound was that she was.
No, they do. Fox. I don't play in Alabama. Matter of fact, wasn't it in Alabama not too long ago that boy got hung?
I don't know.
Fox.
I'm not on Black Twitter, so I wouldn't know that.
I'm just. That's too much for me to deal with.
Have a section.
To go with.
We're gonna have a section in the show where you go through and you explain or you bring me up to date with Black Twitter. Okay,
Fox. Now I could get with that because when I tell you, I can open my Twitter app right now.
A Black Twitter.
And why is there a Black Twitter?
Because it's. I mean,
it's not racist.
No, it's not like a.
Can anybody join?
Well, it's not like a. That's what I was about to say. It's not like a group or a thing that you join. It's just the Black Twitter is the name for the collective thoughts and ideas of black people on Twitter because black people pretty much run Twitter essentially. Like we have
a lot of people use Twitter.
We have all like
Twitter's going down. There's something else that's out there.
But I'm telling you right now, if you want to be up to date on information and you want real live people's takes on this information. Twitter is the place to go.
Yeah.
Because
if you want information and then opinions about the information.
Anything that I find out on Instagram, I get on Twitter, and it was posted on Twitter 14 hours ago, 21 hours ago. Twitter is on the pulse of everything that happens, whether it be political, social media, whatever the case. Fox, the memes. When Roe v. Wade was struck down, they were on it immediately, Fox.
Pass that? Or are you going to use it as a mic today?
She told you.
Fox, you need to get on, you don't need to get on Twitter, but you need to get with the bandwagon.
I'm on Twitter.
I'm telling you, Fox.
I have 2 accounts on Twitter.
I get on here.
This show has an account on Twitter.
I get on here and get my entire life. Entire life, Fox.
I live my
Matter of
life.
fact,
I don't need to get it from my phone.
Let me tell you. Well, I mean, I live my life too, but I live to be in other people's shit too. I'm a nosy bitch. Let me look on here and see what the hoes is talking about today, Fox. What's trending today? Oh, we talking about. Are they still doing the live updates on the war in Ukraine? You know they're still going on. It's been a year.
Yeah, it is.
Robert Pattinson is trending today.
Year already?
No, I was being funny because it's been a long time.
I mean, that's one of those things that I don't know, man. I don't understand the war.
So supposedly the Russian army wives are demanding the return of their exhausted men from Ukraine.
Yeah, the people are going to start to turn and be Russia. at some point. It's too much of the population gets
He's
into
not
the
paying
army.
his bills either like he's supposed to be, too.
Child. Now that's a whole nother story. Why is Robert Pattinson trending?
Hopefully he didn't do anything bad because I want to see him in the next Batman.
Oh, he's in a Bong Joon-ho movie. You know, that's the dude that did Parasite, the one that won all the Oscars.
Yeah.
So I guess Robert Pattinson is in his next movie. And then Julia Roberts and George Clooney are trending.
Yeah.
They're in a rom-com, Ticket to Paradise. The Fantastic Four is trending.
Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they probably announced a update about the movie or something. Oh, that's why Dr. Doom. I was about to say it's because Dr. Doom is trending.
The same stuff you had.
First joint, yeah, we smoked.
Oh, it smells orangey.
Supposedly, there's a Dr. Doom project
Okay, now give me
in
the name of
development.
this.
Citrus sap.
Okay. Can I get you Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Supposedly what?
I said,
Supposedly, Dr. Doom is. They got a Dr. Doom project in the works,
I thought he might be the big bad.
which. Oh, and I like that. Please, oh, you know what? That might be great. Somebody said they should cast the dude that plays Homelander as Dr. Doom. That might be bomb, Fox. He does look like him.
I went and seen one of my movies not too long ago. It was great. I know nobody was gonna watch it.
Right?
You don't need a bag?
No, I don't. My old man went with me. But
Which one?
Downton Abbey.
Ooh.
There was nobody in the theater.
Oh, you had it to yourself?
Oh, it was a private showing.
Oh, I love it.
Seriously?
Seriously, there was just me and my old man in this big old theater.
I love
They
it.
were so mad at you.
For what, making them run the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like you did not have to run your dick.
I paid my senior citizen bill.
So I paid for my movie, hit play.
Yes, it did. I even bought popcorn and pop.
Mm-hmm.
That would cost more than the movie. I think the movie was $16. Popcorn and pop was 21 something.
Yeah, that does. Now they get you on them.
I don't even know what's out
Beverages.
right now to see.
You said what?
Like, there's nothing out. I can't think of anything that's...
Not right now, but Thor comes out in like a week.
Yeah, I know that. That's different. There's no movies. I'm like, oh, did you see oh, you probably haven't. Did you ever watch any of the It Mans? IP Man?
Yes.
Did you see the last one?
No. I watched the first two.
It's not bad, but then you understand that the dude's like 75 years old by the time he's fighting. I mean, he wasn't that old technically, but he was pretty fucking old.
He was old. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that first movie came out when I was in high school. I think the first one came out, that would have been sometime before 07. I graduated in 07.
Hey, how's Rudy been? I haven't seen him.
And the last time I saw him, he was good, but that's been like 2-3 weeks ago.
Been a minute. A long time.
So, how many games you want to go to this year?
Fox, the way my job doing, all of them.
Huh?
Wait, you talking about Pistons games?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I mean, some of them I have to. I mean, it depends on when you want to have to go. I'd have to call off of work because you know the store don't close till 8. So
Yeah, we'd have to figure out dates.
depending on the game, that's what I was about to
Yeah.
say. Depending on the date, I may have to either call off or ask not to close.
No, I
that
know.
day.
When the schedule's out, we can figure it out. But over under.
I mean, I'm not gonna be working. We'll be able to figure some shit out. Like it's not like Fox. I don't work. I don't.
Well, I went for that interview.
And how did that go?
I think it went well, but
I mean, you won't know until they
yeah,
can call you back or
yeah,
don't.
Did you get an interview for?
Doing bedroom thing,
Oh,
doing the clones and stuff like that.
Okay.
Taking care of the veg plants. He's having trouble with people trimming their shit, blah, 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 blah. So it's one of those things where it's like, I think I got them impressed, but at the same time, I don't know, because I was, at a certain point, I was just like, I don't really care. I'm just going to be who I am and tell you how I feel.
I mean, because eventually I'm going to revert to who I am anyway, so why show you a front now?
Yeah.
Just for me to...
And I think it was fine, but, who knows? They might have been off-put by it. I think the 2 weeks might have been a little too much too. So it's like I probably need 2 weeks to get my shit in order.
Oh, well, yeah, that may be because job. Well, I don't know.
Well, if
It's
you're
a
ready,
different
you
type
say,
of
hey
normal
man,
jobs.
I don't need the whole 2 weeks, so whenever you're ready.
But I do need 2 weeks though. I gotta get my shit together.
Well, then get your shit together.
Because Mondays is my day usually, and Mondays is their day. So it's like, he's like, Monday, can you work, make sure you, like, the way he put it is like basically people that they're getting, they may grow, but they ain't growing like I grow.
Yeah.
Because they can't handle their Mondays.
Right.
And Monday is basically the day you gotta do everything. You gotta fucking transplant everything.
Yeah.
You gotta take all the shit from from the veg room and take it all the way to whatever flower room and set that all up. Then you gotta re-clean your station and then do, like, it's a full fucking day, I assume.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, I don't know what do you, how am I supposed to answer that? Yeah, of course I'm gonna do that. I don't know how to prove that to you unless you give me the job, but at the same time, I'm not gonna.
Well, I mean, I guess they want. When we ask questions like that, like I know when I'm interviewing people and I ask questions like that, I mean, I'm looking to see your commitment level. Like I'm letting you know, like this is gonna require this much of you. Like, can you comfortably commit to all of this? Because a lot of times. People are going to situations just like, okay, I need a job, I need money, and I mean, I'm like I was saying a while ago, this is a growth, so it's different. But in normal jobs or like 9 to 5,
who knows? Maybe
people
that's
come
all
into, or maybe
people.
Right, people come into the situation thinking like, I just need a job and I need money, and they don't necessarily.
Yeah.
Is this gonna work for you? Like,
Are you gonna really give a fuck?
Right.
Are you just gonna be here?
Or are you just gonna be here? Yeah.
Too.
And then not to mention, like, you may come into the job not knowing it's a lot of standing or a lot of lifting. Like, are these things you're gonna be comfortable with? So it's just more so seeing if you can be comfortable giving me your whole Monday, because I'm gonna need your whole Monday.
I know, it's just weird when the dude's telling me to see him have the,
What?
like, he still had teeth but shouldn't have teeth. You seen that look? You know what I'm saying? Where they're black.
Oh, like at this point, like, sir, get rid of them or do something.
Why do you have them?
Yeah, let them go. Yeah, I feel you.
Like, how does that not hurt?
How do you not feel self-conscious about that?
Fuck that. How does it not hurt to do anything?
Still, the self-conscious part, fuck the hurt.
There might not have been any in there, actually, to be honest with you.
The nerves might have all been dead. But fuck the hurting.
There might have been fucking gums, and I just... Because I wasn't trying to stare at his teeth, but it was definitely like...
Your smile is the first thing.
When you see something like that, you need to find something else right away. Look at the tip of their ear or something.
That's what I do.
You got
or the bridge
something you're gonna find yourself.
I went to the plant. There's plants right there. I'm like, all right.
Okay. I was gonna say, all right. I look
pretend like I'm investigating while this dude's talking.
You look at the bridge of their nose. That's what I do.
So I mean, it was. I don't know. I haven't interviewed in a long time, and I don't even know. To be honest with you, the way he sounded at the end gave me a little pause.
I mean, to be honest, Fox, that is something that people look at too. Like, are you looking me in my eyes? Well, I look at that. I don't.
Are you paying attention to me?
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to that because I know that most people don't. Most people, most conversations, eye contact's not always constant. Everyone's always moving their eyes off.
I'm not when I look at you.
Yeah, you just did. Multiple times, as we were sitting here, you just went this way. As I said that, you went, yeah, you're right.
Because this is a open forum.
No, I know.
When it's just me and you,
yeah.
You know I give you eye contact.
Contact, I know, but it's not
uncomfortable. We're all going to look at each other's
contact.
eyes like crazy.
Right?
No, but it's not uncomfortable.
Because I make people uncomfortable at work with that. They say that, like, when I be talking to you, you be staring in my eyes, and it made me feel like people are not used to that.
Yeah, because
but
most
that's
people
one of the
don't.
reasons.
That's why I'm small and people can't really keep on.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Most people aren't like that. Most people don't want to have full eye contact because it's, I don't know what it is.
It's uncomfortable.
It's to them.
To them, yeah. I feel like that's how you know I'm listening to you.
At least for a minute or so, as long as we got contact. But when we first starting, but then you can look away. But as long as you give me the first, unless you have something really interesting to say, then
and then you all in. It's like, oh yeah. But see, even when I turn to like between the two of you, my first is to go immediately to your eyes. That's just.
Unless you got something crazy going on up here.
The way I think about it is, if I'm trying to concentrate on your eyes, I'm actually not thinking about what you're saying. Because in my head, all I'm doing is trying to make sure that you see my eyes.
But it takes the same amount of concentration to look at something else as it does to look at your eyes.
It takes less of that to distract me. That's my point. In my mind, it takes less than that. Like, we could be having a total conversation, and if something comes out of Tuesday, if it's not, it's gone.
This is right. I was about to say, this is a hard conversation to be having with you anyway, because Fox, you'll be sitting right there in your phone, and I'll be talking to you, and you don't hear a damn thing I said. So you are right. You do get distracted very easily. So it doesn't matter about eye contact with you, because you ain't gonna pay attention long enough to get there.
Well,
yeah, you know.
But that doesn't mean I'm not trustworthy.
It doesn't. It just means you distracted easily.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm lying to you.
No, it's you feel comfortable enough that you don't feel like you're offending him by doing what you're doing because that's you.
Because he knows 9 times out of 10, I ain't saying nothing important. It's probably just some bullshit.
It's just something you do.
It's something to make him laugh or something stupid.
All right, so I say if they are above 500 halfway through the season. Maybe not halfway.
No, Fox. We gotta go to some of them early games because I want to see.
I want to go to say we'll go 2 or 3.
If they be real good at the end, I want to be able to say, we saw them in the beginning. Because Fox, this could be the year. I feel what you feeling. I'm picking up what you putting down.
It's hard.
That's what I was about to say.
What they were doing the other day. You like who they picked and everything.
God! It's hard to be hopeful because it's such a luck game. Well, it's a luck thing, man. What is luck,
but at the same time, it's the
stars all aligned.
That's what I'm hoping. Like they could be really good this year.
That means just if this person blends with this person, this just butter together.
I mean, like a 5th, 6th spot. Good.
So you have to see them beginning to see how they blend.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the year, you'll see how they melted together.
There you go. Like
to do a sign and trade. Again, I'm putting this down. It's not going to happen, but it could. A sign and trade where they drop off Killian and fucking Stewart for fucking Aiden. Because they just picked up those 2 dudes, but a little bit older and more role player-ish, and maybe some second rounds or maybe a first round in the future.
I don't know, Fox, but then do you want to fuck with that chemistry? Nah, but to be honest, though...
That's the thing, but Aiden wants to play with Ken. Wants to play with Cade.
Isaiah Stewart, I am perfectly fine with letting go.
I know, Killian's one of those ones I feel like people are jumping too early.
Yes, I think Killian...
He's a man-o.
Yes. Very much so. I was just about to say that. He like that switchblade type player.
Yeah,
like,
he's defensive.
Or utility knife, I mean.
And he could still grow.
Yes.
He could still put on another inch or 2.
This is true. And he could put on some more weight. I mean, some muscle.
That's true. He was kind of weak.
Yes, he a little slim, and slim and trim, which it helps him out for his athleticism. But, he could definitely stand and put on a couple extra pounds that'll help him throw his weight around, in the paint a little bit better. He won't get knocked around so easily, and I'll also probably help him rebound a little better. So I definitely think that there's potential upside to him. Isaiah Stewart, though, I think they should get rid of him for a true center.
Well, they got...
I mean, whether the guy they got is going to be a starter or come off the bench,
there's no
you
way
still need another.
There's no way they could start.
Well, that's where you need a starter then. You need a starting big man because Isaiah Stewart
is not. Well, they just did.
Who?
They got the dude from New York.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's my point. They got a starter.
So yeah, for whatever they can get, let Isaiah Stewart go. Or unless he's gonna play the 4, unless he's gonna learn to play the 4, and he has gotten some.
He got better.
I was about to say, and he's gotten some improved offense. That's what I was about to say. Then
because he could not finish.
No, and you're the center. Like you're playing the 5, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you supposed to be the most confident finisher around the rim.
Well, he's supposed to be quicker than everyone that's a center.
Well, that's the thing too. So he's supposed to be able to get up better shots around these big guys because he's quicker.
Fucking like tips, and they're just like boom, boom, boom. It's like, dude, you were fucking an inch away from just dunking.
Just dunking the bitch.
Yeah, because you're 6'9" and the same size as Cade. If you see him stand next to each other,
they're the same size,
and he's good. I mean, again,
you might as well throw Cade at center.
He's probably really good for off the bench type energy. But you need
he need to be at a different position. Put him at the 4 and teach him some moves to get to the basket. Because I think that's one area where he lagged too. His dribble moves. He really ain't got no dribble skills
big.
to me.
That's
He's just
why.
big.
He's like,
and that's, to be honest,
worse.
Hibbles. Handles. I was about to say handles. That is what I was about to say. And I got stuck on dribbles.
a taller Barkley.
But handles are not easy to teach once you get like grown. So he may not pick up any better handles than he already got.
He was a 13th pick.
So he's supposed to be better than he is. I get it.
No,
shut the fuck up. I
I'm
did not
just
remember
saying,
that he was a 13th pick. He's supposed to be much better than he playing now,
right? But
as a 13th pick.
If you took 3 swings in the first round and you got 2 out of 3, okay, that's not bad.
True, but
because
still,
most people don't get anything out of the first. That's how crazy these drafts are. When you actually watch,
I mean, but they still at least get better than he been given.
I mean, he's doing okay. He got on the fucking first rookie team. He had to do okay.
No, rookies across the board were not doing great this season.
I mean,
you just had a few standouts, and everybody else was mediocre as fuck.
Because that's what happens.
No, there are some years where you have a wealth of rookies, like fucking. I mean, well, that's going back a little far. I was about to say 03, but that was way back then. I mean, Fox, less than 20 years. Don't do it, bitch. So it wasn't that far back. I mean, but it was at the beginning of LeBron James' career. But it proved my point. You had so many different rookies coming out that year that could have been great, could have did things, and a lot of them did. Some of them didn't. So there are years. What was another good year? 2018. 18 was a good year. What was the year Kawhi came out?
2013.
Yep, that was another good year.
Was it good because late people? Because again, if you...
No, it was good because the players that got picked up in that draft are still playing and still producing and doing good things. Because that's the draft. When did Paul George get drafted?
12, I think.
2012? Okay, so he in a different class. I thought he was with Kawhi. Wait a minute. No, Fox. I think Kawhi was drafted earlier than that because he played in 2013 finals.
Oh yeah, so he was 2011 probably.
I think he was 2011. I think he was. And I don't remember anybody else that came out there. Matter of fact,
But I'm just saying,
I got this laptop
getting
sitting here
6
and
guys.
doing shit with it.
If you have 6 dudes that are starters out of a draft, that's a good draft. There's a lot of drafts.
But that's what I'm saying, Fox. You got so many. You got years where you got more than that.
No,
you forgetting years. Okay, we finna go back through it because that's why I'm finna look up the 2011 draft because I feel like I remember Kawhi's draft class being a pretty good draft class. Let me see. We're gonna see how many of these hoes are still starters. Okay. Now you got Kyrie Irving, who was taking number 1.
Yep.
He's still starting. Tristan Thompson, he was taking number 1, number 4.
He's not starting anymore.
Is he not?
No, he's out. He ain't playing.
Okay. Kemba Walker.
Nope. He just got released for fucking nothing.
But I didn't remember that. Klay Thompson.
Yeah, that's 2.
Markieff Morris. Marcus Morris.
They still play, I think.
They both still play.
Yeah.
I don't remember if either of them started or not.
No, I don't think either of them started anymore. But they both were starters at one point.
Kawhi.
You know?
Vucevic.
Nope.
He don't start for Orlando.
Who?
Nikola Vucevic.
No, he's in Chicago now. That's the center.
He started for Orlando though, didn't he?
But he's in Chicago. He starts for Chicago now.
Okay, I get you. Tobias Harris.
Yeah, he still plays.
And he starts.
Yeah, it's a good draft.
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, that was second round.
No, I'm still in round one. But I'm late round one. Corey Joseph. He still play.
Not for long.
That don't matter. He still play. And he started. Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler was the last pick of that first round. And he probably the best player besides Kawhi out of all these niggas left. Okay, now we getting into the second round. Ain't none of these bitches still playing, I don't think. Bogdanovich maybe still playing. I don't know if he's starting.
He's not starting. He plays.
Ooh, no, none of these people still playing. Ooh, I remember these names though. Dang, it's crazy that all these second round people are not still playing no more.
No, dude,
you can still find decent talent in the second round.
Go to the next one. I bet you it's a lot less. That was a good draft. I remember hearing that the Kawhi draft was a...
That was a good draft. I remember that. But we finna go to the next year and we finna compare because you trying to... Fox, I feel like you wrong.
I mean, I just watched a bunch of draft shit. And it's crazy how many people just aren't good.
It depends on your definition of good. Some people get hyped up to be more than they are and it
no,
end up
I know,
being
but
less.
I mean is like a top 5 pick is not necessarily like there's not a lot of top 5 picks that have turned out to be amazing.
Anthony Davis.
Yep.
Still playing and starting. Bradley Beal.
Yep.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah, that was another deep draft.
Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, he was Golden State guy, right?
Yeah, Andre Drummond playing, but he ain't starting.
Yeah, he ain't shit anymore.
Jeremy Lamb.
See, but that's my point. There's not that many in 20. There's 30 fucking picks, man.
Fox. Now you don't even know where I'm at yet. I just barely got to 19, and I'm at 6 people. Evan Fournier.
No, he's just a money suck.
I mean, he started all them years for fucking Denver.
I know, but he's basically just a dude that got his check and then became like useless.
That's fine. And that's the first round. But I got to 7 people. Oh, wait. Because in the second round, Jay Crowder.
Yeah, he still plays.
Draymond Green.
Yeah, that was a big pickup in the second round.
That definitely was for Golden State. Chris Middleton.
Yep, that was Pistons.
Will Barton.
Who?
Will Barton. I think he's still with Memphis.
He doesn't start, that's for sure.
And he started with Portland all those years, though.
Wow.
That might be it.
It's like 60 picks, and there's 8 people. 10 people, at the most.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Fox. As long as you can get...
That's not very good odds.
10%. Okay, well, Fox, look at this, though.
And those are 2 strong drafts.
At the same time, but look at this, though, Fox. Look at how many... Okay, let's talk about how many people played 10 or more years from this very same draft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You got 14 people that played 10 or more years, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that played 9 years. So it's like, I mean, it depends on your definition of good. Because if these people are turning out to be good role players for teams, they just didn't turn out to be stars like they were projected to be.
But it's still not half. So you still are taking a really, like, the dudes we're dealing with right now, everyone's all hyped. My point is they're hyped about the 3 that we got in that first round. And they're hyped about Cade, and then there's Saban Lee. There's a little hype about Lee.
I'm gonna tell you what the biggest problem is.
I like Isaiah Livers.
I'm gonna tell you what the biggest issue is. The biggest issue is believing or understanding that once a player, or believing or thinking that once a player gets drafted, that is the end of their development. That is what the issue is. Because Kawhi Leonard is a perfect example of that. If Kawhi Leonard is taken by any other team, he does not become the player he is.
I get that. Player development.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How many teams now actually focusing on continually developing their players once they get them?
The G League helps.
They're not sending them to the G League. They get them, and they there for 2 or 3 years. Oh, you ain't producing, or you don't fit this role. You don't fit this team, and then they ship them off to somewhere else.
It's like you said, though. It is one of the most exclusive clubs on the planet.
It is. It's
only 12.
Very, very exclusive club.
So it's one of those things where, but you still have an ability now to say, okay, Duran sits in the G League for 4 years, but 4 years later he's 22 years old and he comes up and he's a fucking monster. He's getting 3 blocks a game.
Exactly. Yes. Player development matters because there are so many players that are great in college because they know how to do one thing good, and you get all that hype off of being able to do one thing, and then you get to the NBA where you got players that can do multiple things really well, and it's like you second bananas. So it's like if you continue to develop your player and they continue to work on adding different things to their game, because a prime example of that is Danny Green. Now, granted, I ain't gonna shade the bitch because that bitch slid herself into 3 slick old championship rings. I'm not mad at her because she was on the Spurs team in 2014. She got traded to Toronto with Kawhi, got a ring there, and she left Toronto and went to LA and got a ring there the very next year. So this bitch got 3 rings. I ain't gonna take that from the hoe, but he never progressed his game beyond being a 3-and-D guy. He never saw what potential he could have possibly had because they put him in a box of, okay, Danny Green, he shoots threes and he has good defense. And that is what he became. He basically got typecast for his career and he never progressed beyond that. And he got to the point where, like, it looked so awkward to watch him drive to the rim. It's like, bro, that's a layup is like the basic of basketball. Like, you don't even look right doing a layup. It's like you didn't add anything to your game. Like, not anything. But it got him 3 rings. Even though the last 2, I don't necessarily feel like he helped in any way. What did he do in Toronto to help get that ring? Maybe he hit a few threes. I was about to say, I don't remember his name being called or involved in anything, so I don't know what he did. And I know for sure he didn't do anything in LA. He maybe hit 1 or 2 threes in that bitch, but that was all he did in LA. Because by the time he got to LA, Danny Green looked washed. And that's why he fading off into the background as he is now. But he will forever be able to say he got 3 rings, and won 2 of them back to back. There are very few people who can say that outside of Kobe, Mike, Isaiah. Steph Curry, Isaiah, Clay. We've named like 6 people. Draymond,
Durant.
So there's probably less than 10 people or less than 20 people. Magic and Larry Bird. There's less.
I don't think they
did the Celtics ever win back to back?
I don't think they did.
Oh well, there you go. There's less than maybe 20 people that can say that. So there's things to put his name up there with, but at the end of the day, what if he could have added an extra to his game that could have extended his career instead of have him being my age and fading into obscurity, where most players are going into their next era when they hit my age? Because LeBron James is still playing, and LeBron James is older than me.
Yeah, but he also spends.
That's what I'm saying. Why isn't Danny Green? I ain't saying he got to spend all that money on his body.
Not the dedication and determination it takes to get
but
to
that's
that
also too. Also, I feel like the league instills that, but because if you don't push me to be better or go beyond what I'm doing, then I'm never gonna have that motivation for myself anyway, or either.
I mean,
but if you
might.
But if you start with that, hey, get better. Let's put you in the gym with this coach and have you doing dribble drills so that you can get better driving to the rim. Blah 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 blah. And then, because as a player, once you start, take it from me, I play basketball. It ain't got nothing to do with basketball, but play sports, period. When you see the fruits of what your coach been trying to tell you, that is the motivation that pushes you to be like, oh, you know what? Because I remember when Danny Green was with San Antonio, and I remember they were trying to get him to be more drive to the rim, because with the way he shoot threes, it's just perfect. You get a guy closing out on you. You pump fake, get him up in the air, you dribble and go right around him. At the very least, it gets you a wide open mid range right behind his ass. But if you ain't got the handles to do that, and they tried to do that with him right after that 2014 year, because I remember being shocked, like right at the beginning of the season, he had like two of these really, really nice looking ass layups. Like he was in the corner. And he did the little flyby. He pump faked, the dude flew by him, and he dribbled and did like a reverse layup or some shit. And I'm like, okay, Danny Green. That lasted for maybe about 10 games, and then he was back to the 3-and-D of it all. And he's one of the main people I think about when I bring that up, because I'm like, what could he? How do you know you couldn't have been, like, you could have been something so much greater if player development had been a focus?
Yeah, but
they
obviously did it with Kawhi, so it was more of the Danny Green didn't have the desire.
Well, Danny Green didn't get drafted by the Spurs. Danny Green got drafted by Cleveland.
Oh, so a different mindset in the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Danny Green was... Oh, Fox, let me get you together, because I'm almost certain, I think Danny Green was a rookie on that Cleveland Cavaliers team with LeBron James.
What Cavaliers team?
2007.
Oh, the one that lost?
Yes.
Oh.
Let me see, when was Danny Green drafted? Oh, I'm steady typing and this bitch ain't even in the damn space bar.
I don't know. We'll see. Because again...
No, he was not. I was right, he was drafted by Cleveland, but he was drafted in 2009.
So many drafts where you see teams take two people right next to each other. You're like, man, imagine having that in this draft.
Yeah, that would.
Imagine if you had 3 and 4.
Like,
woo! You get Jabari, and that's what you think. But the reality is one of them's gonna fail. One of them's just gonna be a role player, which again is fine. But you're not trying to draft a role player at number 2. You're trying to draft Kevin Durant.
I mean, to be honest, you trying to get the best available player.
I know, but you're hoping for
your team when your pick come up. Because, like, I mean, take Danny Green again, for example. Just imagine when they drafted him the second round, pick 46. I mean, granted, he didn't do nothing for them. But nobody would have imagined, like, oh, he was late second round. Like, he ain't finna be shit.
I know. You got Jokovic.
And here he is with 3 rings all these years later.
I get that, but that's not...
How many second rounders got 3 rings, Fox?
How many fucking number 2s?
That's huge. How many second rounders got 3 rings?
Not many, but how many number 2s have 3 rings? Probably not many. If you go through the number 2s that came out.
I mean, but that's fine though, Fox. It's hard enough to win a championship. It's hard enough to win a championship as it is. I don't think placement matters in any way. Because at the end of the day, basketball is still the truest team sport left, because it's you. I mean, I guess you could say soccer, but you sub too many people in too quickly for soccer.
I mean, hockey.
You sub too many people in too quickly for hockey too.
That's the point of it. It's a team game in the sense on the whole team. You need the goalie, and you need to be able to sub and play at a high pace. Again.
Yeah, but these subs are just coming in replacing their same position.
Yeah.
what I'm saying is in basketball, you have to be on the floor. Yes, but you're on the floor for extended periods of time.
Well,
with the same group of people. Well, I get that, but I'm saying that allows for more.
Well, then hold on. Logic. If you think about it in a sense, then it's more teamwork to have to switch every 2 minutes.
Listen, folks, I'm speaking from the chemistry standpoint. Like, how can I develop? I can't develop chemistry with a person that's only next to me for 30 seconds or 40 seconds. I don't know how long, but then they subbed out and the next person comes in.
Yes,
so you have to more so develop chemistry with the position rather than the person.
No, because the way hockey's set up, it's lines. It's not. Like in basketball, you'll have one dude come in and one dude come out. In hockey, when you're switching line, it's 3 dudes come in, 3 dudes come off, and they're the same 3 dudes that play the whole game together, most of the game. Sometimes they'll switch them up. Obviously, it's
Well,
but they play all together. So those for that 90
that means
seconds,
you have factions inside the team,
right? Which still have to work together because
they can have more chemistry than the entire team itself. So that to me that throws it off even more.
It's the same as like when you have a second squad. You have to have good chemistry. That's why Golden State beat Boston. Because Golden State's second squad was better than Boston's.
It's Fox. It's different to me with soccer and hockey because, like, it's just so many substitutions.
Well, soccer there's not, but you only get 3 per game.
Oh well, hockey. There's just the substitutions just come too fast.
You gotta stop thinking of it as substitutions. It's line changes. It's different.
It's still a substitution.
But it's because the game can only be played for so long before people become exhausted.
Well, I get that. But I'm saying, like, I just feel like when you have a set of people, a group of people that are on the floor longer, it's easier to build chemistry within that group, and those few minutes become like pivotal moments in games. Like, say for instance, if your starting 5 has played together forever, they have the chemistry of whatever, like Golden State, for example, in the finals. The first couple minutes of the game that they're together, they can influence a game exponentially. Like, if they get off to a hot start and their defense is fucking killing it, by the time the second unit comes in, the game could be 30 to 11. And that could literally set you up and mark you up for the entire rest of the game. Like, I just feel like from the chemistry aspect, like, it means a lot more when you talking about basketball, especially in hockey to me, which I feel like, to be honest, you can fight me and argue with me on this, but in hockey, I honestly feel like that bitch is so much luck, it's not even funny.
No, there's
like,
so much skill. You need to watch
the way hockey. You got to fucking sling that puck between people and all that shit to get it into that motherfucking thing. I honestly feel like it's literally just take as many shots as you can, and bitch, we'll see which ones go in.
You've never really watched hockey.
Okay, that's fine, Fox, and I don't intend to. But I'm just letting you know.
Because there's
from my standpoint, that is what it looks like. But in basketball
right now, where they're just shoot as many threes as you can get up. Team that makes the most threes wins.
Okay, yes, but you can still run plays and do things to set yourself up to get open threes.
They do that too.
Good threes. Hockey just looks too fucking chaotic.
But it's not. To you, it's chaotic because you don't know it. In the same way, basketball's chaotic.
No. And then another thing too. There's a goalie that never leaves the fucking rim. You can run plays to get the big man out of the way to clear the lane and get easy runs to the rim.
Basket this big.
Okay, but that's fine. But a layup when there's nobody there is like shooting a puck into an empty net without a goalie.
It's way easier to shoot into a goalie than it is because, again, at the speed of the game.
How many NBA players are gonna miss a layup?
We've seen it.
A wide open layup. It's like 1% though.
Okay.
Less than 1%. Nobody of NBA caliber is gonna miss a wide open layup.
What does this have to do?
Especially because when it's wide open, they're 9 times out of 10 gonna dunk it.
What does this have to do with the fact that they still run plays in hockey? They still do shit.
It doesn't. To me, it don't look like. I know running plays makes a difference in hockey.
But it does. The Red Wings, when they started doing the left wing lock, it's a system that Scotty Bowman came with in the 70s. And they basically implemented it in the 90s. And basically the idea is left wing, because normally when you forecheck, you forecheck. And everyone's got their different versions of how they forecheck. Do you send 2 people in? Do you send 3? Do you send in 1? Do you keep 1 back? Well, in this one, the left wing is always on defensive hover. Always in a defensive hover, no matter the situation, coming with the forecheck. And so they go into it, each line, knowing their strengths and knowing their weaknesses. Planning to do things against the teams that they're playing, because each defenseman is different in every way. Nicholas Lindstrom's a guy who basically would pick your pocket. He's basically a Gary Payton in a sense, where you have other defensemen who are basically just Shaq. I'm bigger than you, knock you down. So you have to plan for that. You have guys who are fast, you got guys who aren't fast, you got guys that can handle the puck and do all kinds of things that you've never seen before.
That's the most athletic thing to me about hockey. Dude, is the stuff they do with the puck.
And the skating. You know how hard it is to skate?
Fox, I can ice skate.
That's fine. You can ice skate, but you can't skate like they can.
I probably can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
I bet you can.
I'm pretty sure I can.
I'm almost positive
Fox.
you can. I've seen people, the way they can move on ice.
Who rollerblades through the streets of Detroit.
That's fine. It's different.
I'm pretty sure I have the balance. If I can already ice skate, you telling me that I cannot skate like that? If I can already ice skate,
like a professional hockey player, no. They would basically the way they could run around you. It'd be like saying you can do what a fucking what are those people called? Ice skaters, ice dancers, whatever they're called.
I mean, I can do some of the stuff they do.
Some of it. You can do some of it, but most of it you can't.
I can do a.
Maybe you would learn it faster.
I'm not saying that you can't learn it. I'm not saying you can't learn it, but right now at this point,
that's what I feel like you're saying.
No. You're human, and I believe in your God-given abilities. So yes.
Oh, at this point I can. Fox.
If I give you 10 years, you ain't definitely catch up to a fucking guy.
Fox, get the fuck out of here. If you give me a pair of ice skates and you give me access to a ice skating rink, I guarantee you I'll be skating like a hockey skater. And give me 6 months. 6 months, Fox, and I guarantee you. I already know how to ice skate, so that's the first part already down.
How much time are you putting in?
And I can pretty much guess from my agility on rollerblades, where I'm jumping on rollerblades and also on 1 foot a lot of time. I feel like I can translate that athleticism over to ice skates.
Okay.
It may be a little touchy at first because the fear factor is a thing because that blade is thin, but I had the same fear when I first started jumping and skating in and out of cars on rollerblades, but I got over it, and now people look forward to seeing me on my rollerblades downtown, but I haven't been on them since the pandemic because I've gained weight and I don't really want to lose weight.
I'm just saying, when you watch Hustle, did you see it? You saw it.
You just doubt my athletic ability.
No. When you watch Hustle and you see the amount of work that dude put in, again, fictional, but whatever, I'm sure he really does it. The amount of work that Adam Sandler pushed that guy to do, and the shit that he did.
I watched the movie. I told you about the movie.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. When you watch all that, and you understand that there's people that do the exact same thing, but it's hockey. You're not going, unless you do what they're doing, you're not going to catch them.
Fox, being perfectly honest, let's break down what a hockey skater has to do. Fox, okay, so you have to be able to at least skate with at least some type of speed, because you need to be able to, if it's chase or whatever, you need to be able to get down the floor. You need to be able to turn, and you need to be able to change direction. Those are 3 basic ice skating things.
Keep your balance while being touched and bumped and hooked and shafted and all
okay, yes, and that is fine, but that comes with having great balance. You don't get great balance by ice skating. You get great balance by exercising in the gym, working out your core, making sure your leg muscles are together, which you get leg muscles from skating, which improves your balance. So the more you skate, the better your balance is.
But again, it's like a figure skater. That's what it is.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying, Fox. What they do on skates is really not difficult in the grand theme of skating. the most difficult part of it is learning how to stay on your feet with contact.
Yeah.
And that really, I promise you, that comes with balance, which you gain from skating more.
That's fine.
And working out, getting your core. Like I'm telling you, Fox. Like if you had people jumping over shit and like changing directions real quick.
That's what these guys can do.
Okay, well that's fine. That's tricks.
Because they're basically
those are tricks.
Figure skaters with hockey skates.
Some of them.
No, most of them are.
No, some of them.
You gotta be a good skater.
You're not gonna disrespect figure skaters, Fox. The tricks and shit that they do, you telling me you got hockey skaters that can do a triple axel?
No, they're not as good as a fucking figure skater.
A triple sow cow?
Different thing.
What about the French lady that can do a backflip? You telling me you got hockey skaters that can do a backflip on ice?
I'm sure there's some hockey players that could have, yeah.
A small percentage, and that's either natural ability, just because they all were really, really good skaters, just from natural ability, or because they actually put in the work to actually learn figure skating things. Because you're not telling me that most hockey skaters can do what figure skaters can do. I just won't believe it.
Why
The tricks that they, because he be getting me with this. We had an argument that it takes more to ice skate and control a puck than it does to run it and dribble a basketball. Well, that's what I'm saying, because this is a heated argument for me. So I have to prove a point with my hand.
One of his things.
Like we've had this argument before, and I'm telling you,
you're dealing with.
I give hockey skaters they props. But Fox, in the grand scheme of skating on ice,
easier than dribbling a basketball.
Well, yeah, because
not Kyrie Irving dribbling, because again, most hockey skaters aren't Kyrie Irving, but at the same time, there are dudes that are magical, just like.
Let's be honest. The main thing is in hockey, you don't even have to worry about a traveling violation, Fox. Like you literally
still have to have the stick.
You literally have to think about your steps. As you're dribbling the ball, as you're looking around to see who to pass it to, as you're waiting, I see an opening, I can duck in here. As you got somebody swiping at the ball. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you don't, like, there's no penalty. Like, you can skate and move and do whatever you want, take the puck, you can bump into people.
You get penalized for that.
No penalty? You're on ice.
But that's what I'm saying. I can't just dribble down the court and just bump into somebody running down the court.
If you're LeBron James, you can.
Generally, that is an offensive foul. But you're allowed to be way more aggressive in hockey. So like, there's no finesse about it. It's just brute strength done on a beautiful
because you've never
sport
actually watched
on a beautiful surface because it's ice skating.
We have to go to one hockey game. One.
And why are you gonna freeze me out just to watch the
It's not that fucking cold. And when you see it,
it's an ice rink. How is it not that cold?
It's not because only the rink has to be cold.
Your snow pants.
You're talking about
your blanket.
You're talking about LCA, and they built LCA for who? The white people.
It doesn't matter. You gonna fill that bitch up with ice and think it's not gonna make it cold?
It's not that cold. It's not.
And you notice he keeps saying not that cold.
No, it's not cold. Like, okay, when you go into the rink over there, because there's two hockey rinks over there.
Fox, I got something new I want to say, and I cannot say it on camera.
So there's the hockey rink over there. If you go in there, yes, it's cold. You want to put on a jacket. But when you're talking about LCA, they've climate controlled the building and the ice. They have it like set up to where it's like not really that cold.
Okay.
You can consider it.
You'll see it when you see it.
No. Anyways, when you see a hockey game in person, it's just you'll understand the difference, and it's not just handle with it. There's so much involved with. It's the same thing that they do with basketball. Facts. When you're dealing with basketball, you have to matchups matter. In hockey, it's the same way. You have to pick your people. You pick on people. You do the same thing. It's just all done because home team is the team that's allowed to put out the last lineup. So when you switch, you have face-off or whatever, when you're putting the two teams out, visitors have to put theirs out, and then the home team can then put out theirs, right? Visitors, after the home teams put out their final line that they're going to face off, the visitors can't. That's an advantage that gives you home ice advantage. Because you can take, when you see that they put out their fourth line, which is usually people that suck, it's the backup bench, as you would say. It would be like the 7th, 8th starter of a basketball team. They're out there just to, because they don't play very much. They only play like 10 minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes a game. Where the first squad plays 25 minutes a game. So you got your fourth out there that sucks. I'm going to put out my first, and my first is going to have a complete advantage. And there's only 3 defensive pairings, too. So you have to keep that in mind when you're dealing with teams. They have 4 offensive pairings. You have 3 defensive pairings.
Facts. Let me tell you right now, this sounds like a complicated way to do something simple.
Chess on ice.
It's chess.
It's kind of a chess game when you're watching it play out. Because if I put out my fourth line, you'll see a team that just put out a line.
I'm sorry, Bobby Fischer.
Bobby Fischer.
That he would make that comparison.
But the point is, it's
Bobby
like basketball in the
Fischer
same way. Same way in basketball. If you see that the other team puts out some guys and you're down, you might actually put out
adjustments. Yes, because basketball is a game of adjustments. You basically taking punches back and forth, and you making adjustments.
Every game is a game.
I mean, not really. You don't get to make no adjustments in football.
Yeah, you have to.
Because you got to be too stupid to make adjustments.
The teams that are the best teams are the ones that come out in the second half and figure shit out.
Making a joke.
Oh, well, your sarcasm didn't really hit very well.
Apparently not.
It's not my fault. I didn't try the joke. You did.
I mean, the fact state, most teams don't do well with making adjustments. Don't blame me if you didn't get the joke.
Yeah, well, NFL is basically a hierarchy of people that have already been coaches.
Well, that's fine.
So you don't.
The
have
joke still
talent.
stands, and it was still funny. So don't blame me if you didn't get it.
They're really hopeful about the Lions this year. I'm so gonna be.
Not with Jared Goff.
People are out there believing.
Not with Jared Goff, boo boo.
Good.
Not with Jared Goff.
I could see
if he couldn't do it with that stacked ass team in LA that Matthew Stafford went out there and turned around and did it with. What makes you think he gonna do it with the bullshit team that Matthew Stafford couldn't do it with?
He actually had a better team than Stafford did.
There you go.
Gurley was a monster.
This is true.
Gurley was.
If Matthew Stafford had Gurley,
they'd have never had a chance.
They'd have never lost. Yeah, it wouldn't even been a question. That is true. I forgot that they had Ty Gurley. Completely forgot that.
He had a ton of fucking yards those couple years.
Man, yeah, I think he led the league in yards 2 years in a row. I think.
2 years in a row, huh?
I think he did. Where is he at now?
He's already retired. I mean, when you're fucking running back, you retire quick.
Yeah, all running backs retire quick.
Unless you're fucking.
There's a lot of stress on your body.
Beast.
That's a lot of stress, bro. Well, whoever you are. He only played 6 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, he hurt his knee or something like that and lost his step.
Yeah, 2017 and 2018, he led the league in yards. He had over 1,000 yards both years.
That's the crazy part too. He wasn't, but he was one of those dudes that was a Marshall Faulk.
I mean, he was on a good team that had a good running game. That's really what it was, bro. He was a good running back, but he was on a team with a really, really good running game. Their running game was fucking.
Well, their offensive line.
They had an offensive line, but their scheme was good as well too, because they were doing a lot of jet sweeps, and nobody fucking does jet sweeps anymore. So and that's how it is in football. You come out with a new concept that people either haven't done in a long time or haven't done before. For a year or two, it's usually big shit. It's all the rage, and then people either find out a way to defend it or they find out a way to copy it, and it goes from there. But they was killing it with the what's the little dump out to the screen pass to the running back. That was another big proponent of they run game. Well, technically that's the pass game, but Ty Gurley was running them screens, and when you get a running back running a screen pass, that could get real nasty on you real quick, Because you giving him the blocking he needs to automatically turn that bitch into a 40, 50-yard pickup.
Yeah, there's a lot of hope in this city, and it's always turned
Oh
out
my
to be
goodness!
shit.
And then he had a catch. His catch percentage was like 70% every year. He had 80% his first year, and it only dipped under 70% one year. So he was a really, really good catcher running
I
back.
haven't even seen them. Where are the little ones?
They're sleeping.
Not the little ones, the little ones.
Outside sleeping.
Oh,
Yeah, they take advantage of the nice days.
I don't blame them.
They sleep outside.
They
All day.
cooped up in the house all winter.
No, they're not.
They go out in the winter?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They're, once we installed that cat door, it has never once been shut. Oh, okay, maybe like when your brother's doing the lawn, we had the ability to shut